check of the sound because
No
I need to
worries.
make sure that we can be heard.
Of course.
That always helps. No Palmer tonight to sit here and do sound checking for me.
No, it's a shame that.
You can always be heard when he's here.
Good evening and welcome along to another watch along, courtesy of Shoot Some Shale, sponsored by D&D Media. And tonight, it's myself who's taking over from Mr. Palmer, who's on his holidays, and I'm joined in the studio by Mr. Dill. How we doing, Dill?
No studio? Oh, no studio. Palmer's left me on my own to do the community service tonight.
Shocking behaviour that from Mr. Palmer.
Criminal. We got a busy night out. 3 meetings to go tonight. This one we're watching Sheffield versus Ipswich and Oxford versus Bellevue. We'll have a look at those lineups before we get to this one. So, Al, you're going to be talking us through Sheffield and Ipswich. You got them 2 lineups, Mush?
Yep, I do indeed. So lining up for the home side, the Sheffield Tigers, at number 1 is Jack Holder. At number 2, they've got Anders Rowe. At number 3, it's Josh Pickering. At number 4 is Justin Sedgman. At number 5 is Chris Holder. At number 6 is Lewis Kerr. And their rising star is Leon Flint. And lining up for the Ipswich Witches is Jason Doyle at number 1. Adam Ellis lines up at number 2. Emil Saifudanov goes at 3. Danny King rides at 4. Tom Brennan rides at 5. Dan Thompson at number 6. And Jordan Jenkins at number 7.
Got any riders to watch for that one, Al?
I'm going to go for Anders Rowe for the Sheffield Tigers, because he was phenomenal on Monday at the British final. If you haven't seen it, get it watched. And for Ipswich, I'm going to go for... I'm going to go for Tom Brennan. He's had a great start to the season, and I think he'll have a good impact on that Ipswich side tonight.
I'm going to go with Anders Rowe for Sheffield for the same reasons that you said. He was fantastic on Monday. He was fantastic again last night for Paul, going through the card and beaten from his 5 rides. And for Ipswich, I'm going to go for Dan Thompson. He was also really good on Monday, just narrowly missed out on the semi-final, and has had a good season himself. Over at Oxford, the Spires take on the Bellevue Aces. Riding for the away team first, the Aces. Brady Curtis goes at number 1. Norrit Bladorn at 2. Jamin Lindsay at 3. Zach Cook at 4. Dan Bewley 5. Tate Zishki at 6. And Jake Mulford is the rising star at number 7. Out, have you got an ace to watch?
I'm going to go for Zach Cook. He's had a mixed start to the season, but I think he'll have a good night tonight at Oxford, and I reckon he can help this Aces side take something away from Oxford.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Zach as well. He generally does go quite well at Oxford. It's a track that he's already raced this season as well with Poole, and he did okay that night. I think he's starting to find his feet now with Bellevue, and I think tonight he'll carry on doing that. And for the Oxford Spires, they're led at number 1 by Matt Sainofsky. Peter Kelderman rides at number 2. Charles rides at 3. Rowan Tunge at 4. Eric Riss moves to number 5. Craig Cook at 6. And Luke Killeen is the rising star at number 7. Out, you got a Spire to watch.
I'm going to go with another man who had a great night at the British final on Monday, the wild card for the GP. I'm going for Charles Wright, because he was really good on Monday night.
I'm going to go with Craig Cook. He was solid enough in the home win at Oxford for his debut or re-debut against Birmingham a couple of weeks back. And then he went to Perry Bar and got a 15-point maximum from the 5 rides he completed in. And he's looking good. He started slowly on Monday in the British final, but when he got it together, it was very quick as well. So I'll have updates from Oxford. Alan will have updates from Sheffield, and now on to tonight's meeting. Al, do you want to read us through the Kings Lynn Stars?
Yep, I will do. So lining up for the Kings Lynn Stars, at number 1 is Chris Harris. At number 2 is rider replacement for the injured Ben Cook. At number 3 is Jan Kovac. At number 4 is Richard Lawson. At 5 is Niels Christian Everson. At number 6 is Nikolai Clint. And at number 7, the rising star, Ashton Bowsion.
And your star to watch out.
My star to watch, I'm keeping on the British final theme here. I've gone for Chris Harris. That man rode a stormer on Monday night, and if he can ride like he did on Monday, he'll be given Leicester riders a thing to be afraid of.
I've gone with Richard Lawson. Raced at Leicester last season for Leicester. Didn't start the season the best, but he's going a bit better now. He was solid enough last night at Poole as well. Opted to miss the British final by his own choice, but he rides this track as well as anyone, and I think he'll come back and haunt the Lions tonight. So for the Leicester Lions, Max Frick rides at number 1, Luke Becker at 2, Ryan Douglas at 3, Kyle Howarth is fit to take his place at number 4 after a crash at Glasgow on Friday. Sam Masters rides at 5, Drew Kemp at 6, and Joe Thompson guests in place of the injured Dan Gilks as the rising star at number 7. Al, your Lion to watch.
I've gone for Drew Kemp. He's had a good start to the season, especially at Berwick, and I think if he can bring his Berwick form to Leicester, then I'm sure he could be a surprise package down at reserve for them tonight.
I've gone for Luke Becker. He started the season really well. He generally does ride at number 2, the better position in the team for him. He can trap now. He never used to be able to, but he has got better at that, and he's as quick as anybody when he's out in front, and he's a fantastic rider to have at number 2 and to be going in Heat 1 partner in Max Frick. Kings Lynn have a rider replacement for Ben Cook at number 2, and I think it's Nikolai Clint, Ashton Bowsion and Jan Kovac who are able to take that, so it'll be interesting to see which order Rob Lyon decides to play those in. Right, Al, some predictions, starting with your meeting.
So I think that'll be a close meeting. So I'm going to go for a 48-42 to Sheffield.
Ooh, I'm going to say Ipswich will nick it. I think Ipswich's reserves are better than Bellevue's, and I think that's where it'll be won and lost. A score prediction for Oxford and side better than Sheffield's, you know what I mean. A score prediction for Oxford and Bellevue, talking of Bellevue.
Oxford, Bellevue, I'm gonna go. Ooh, that's gonna be tricky. I'm gonna give it to Bellevue, but I'm gonna say 46-44.
I'm going to give it the other way. I'm going to give it Oxford by 2. I reckon, like I've just said there, for the Ipswich and Sheffield meeting, I think the Oxford reserves are just a little bit better than the Bellevue reserves. And for the meeting we're watching tonight out.
Ooh, this one's. I'm gonna go 55-35 to Leicester.
Ooh, going big.
Yeah, Kings Lynn's not had the best start to the season, and for me, I think the Leicester team are stronger than Kings Lynn, unfortunately.
I'm going to say Leicester by 10. I don't think it'll be a landslide, but I do think Leicester win. I think to a man their team is stronger. I think Joe Thompson is the better of the 2 rising stars, and that could be pivotal. I'd expect Nikolai Clint to probably take 7 rides or close to 7 rides tonight. But I think to a man the Leicester team is better. Obviously, as we always say, we can't show the live action because of copyright. The meeting can be purchased with a one-off pass from BSN for $13.99, or it is included in the Premiership season pass. And the gates, Leicester won the toss and took gates 1 and 3 in Heat 1. And just as we do that, the riders are starting to come out for parade, so we're nearing start time now.
Yeah, we are, and I do believe that our other co-host is actually at this match tonight, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Palmer's gone to this on his way to going out to Poland tomorrow. He decided to take in some action at Leicester tonight after the last time he was there. It pissed it down on parade, and Dougie's testimonial got called off.
Yep, it did, and I think he's there with a friend of the stream, Mr. Steele.
Yeah, he's with Carl
there as well.
A couple of other people. So yeah, Palmer will be back. I don't know if there is any watch-alongs next week. I'll be honest, we don't know when the next one is. We
don't know.
We haven't planned that far ahead yet, to be honest.
Just keep an eye on the socials and you'll find it.
It's that point of the season now where we don't really plan too far in advance. We just have to go with sort of as it comes, really. It's difficult to plan too far in advance. So, and for the roles tonight, Alan will do what I usually do, calling the heat lineup and the results. And I'll be doing what Palmer usually does, calling the action from tapes to flag.
Exactly that. Not sure if we know who the RR is yet in heat number.
We don't, but I'll tell you in a moment when it comes on.
Trick ready to head out.
Shut up, Mr. Man talking from BSN. We have to refresh the stream because it seems to be on a bit of a go slow. And we do wait and see who the RR is. Max Frick is already in the starting holding area in his red helmet, and he'll go off gate 3 in heat 1 with Luke Becker going off gate number 1. The RR,
tell you
whoever it is, will go
check.
off gate 2, and Chris Harris will be off the outside. I'm assuming it's Nikolai Clint.
No, it's Jankovic is taking the RR in heat number 1.
He's going strong early.
Yep, I've just checked it on the old stats thing and it said Jankovic.
That's an interesting one. I'd have probably left him till a little bit later. Maybe heat 8.
Yeah, they used him in heat 8. I wouldn't have used him this early on.
Right now, I wouldn't have used him in this one, to be honest. I'd have gave Clinty the early ride, but you know, Clint will take 2. If perhaps that's a sign that Kings Lynn may end up falling far enough behind for a tactical, and he's thinking about that because obviously a tactical can come in as an RR as well. But I'd have definitely used Jankovic in heat 8. That's a strange one. That I don't understand. I don't understand it. Al, are you dead?
No, I'm not dead. I can't see anything. It looks like it's showing me a rider head to head.
That's what it is showing. That's why, boss.
Come out and break that.
They're going through the head-to-heads. Oh, wow, look, Jesus Christ on a bike. Now you can see
Look, I'm a
something.
little bit slower.
A
Now I
little
can see what's
bit.
going on.
Understatement of
All
the
right.
year.
So the lineup for heat number 1. In blue off gate number 1 is Luke Becker. In yellow off gate 2 is rider replacement Jan Kovac. In red off gate 3 is Max Frick. And off the outside in white, gate 4, Chris Harris.
Good looking lineup to start the meeting, this. Gate 4 is notoriously not easy in the early stages, although if anyone's going to make it work, it'll be Bomber.
Yeah, I don't see that working too well this early on, but you know.
The outside
Bomber
looks
sound
really slick
possible.
as well. So the start marshal pulls the riders into line. Tapes fly, and it's a good start for both the Leicester boys. Max Frick's got there. Chris Harris has come across from the outside, but Luke Becker's on the inside. Harris and Becker neck and neck. Harris just gets ahead of Luke Becker with Jankovic at the back. Max Frick leads as they end the first lap. Luke Becker going a bit tight there, and Jankovic is all over his back wheel. Chris Harris gets to the second position quite easily. Jankovic is around the back of Becker, but not really making any inroads. Max Frick's clearing off out in front. Bomber can't really do anything. Luke Becker keeps running wide off 3 and 4 now. If he does that again, Jankovic will be through, but this is fairly settled already. Becker's not got the best speed on him though. Chris Harris is half a straight behind Max Frick at this point. Max Frick streaking clear, easy. Luke Becker's not got the speed he'd like. He's there or thereabouts, but he's having to ride a very defensive race. And Jankovic, I don't really see him making any inroads now. He's dropped back, if anything. And Leicester are going to open up proceedings with a 4-2 with Max Frick taking the flag. Good race to start that now. All done from the start for Frick, but a decent enough race.
Yeah, Frick just gated and went, and Becker just had to hold off Kovac for the 4 laps.
Max Frick looks like he's enjoying himself this year. He's scoring big points pretty much everywhere he goes.
Yeah, he is, to be fair. So the result of heat number 1 was a win for the rider in red, Max Frick. Second to the rider in white, Chris Harris. And third to the rider in blue, Luke Becker. A 4-2 makes it to Leicester, makes the current scores 4 to Leicester, 2 to Kings Lynn. And the aggregate score is 48 all.
Max Frick made a beautiful gate. Becker was there initially, but Chris Harris just found a bit of speed around him. Just made that just narrow off the inside work. Jankovic was miles behind. It's criminal that man's a Grand Prix rider because he's crap.
Yeah. He was closing in for at least a couple of laps and then just fell back, and that was it. Just couldn't seem to get past him.
And that was all she wrote. Joe Thompson here in his Plymouth Kevlars. Did used to ride for the Leicester Lions as their rising star a couple of seasons ago. Left by mutual decision was the statement that was given.
So the lineup for heat number 2. In white off gate 1 is Nikolai Clint. In red off gate 2 is Drew Kemp. In yellow off gate 3 is Ashton Bowsian, and off the outside in blue is Joe Thompson.
I was that invested in that first race, I forgot to fill in my scorecard.
Oh dear.
All up to date. Drew Kemp was a strange one at the. He started the season really, really well, but he's tailed off a little bit, certainly for Leicester recently. And Ashton Bowsian was here a couple of weeks ago for the British final qualifier, and he was awful. Nikolai Clint should be favourite for this.
He should be favourite to win this heat, but I wouldn't underestimate the Leicester pair.
So the start marshal calls him into line. Nikolai Clint is the last one to settle. fairly even break there actually. Nikolai Clint's gated and Ashton Bowden's there with him. Joe Thompson off the outside though, has got his wheel in the dirt. Drew Kemp up the inside as well. Joe Thompson goes round the outside of Nikolai Clint. Drew Kemp has to scrub off there. Nikolai Clint cuts across his line. Nikolai Clint nearly wipes Joe Thompson out there. Battle of the Plymouth boys out in front, but on opposite teams tonight. Joe Thompson is well on the pace, but Nikolai Clint's got himself clear at the front now. Drew Kemp is comfortable in third, and after an initially solid enough start, Ashton Bowden is now starting to be tailed off at the back. Nikolai Clint streaking clear. As you'd probably expect in this company. Joe Thompson was there or thereabouts, but he's let his number 6 partner now, Drew Kemp, get ahead of him and put a bit of a challenge on Nikolai Clint. Joe Thompson's comfortable in third, and Ashton Bowden is tailed off at the rear. Just over a lap to go. Nikolai Clint's got this all wrapped up, barring any mechanical failures. Drew Kemp has now got past Joe Thompson, but has got too much ground to make up. Joe Thompson's solid enough in third place. Ashton Bowden is slowly putting a little bit of pressure on, but I think it's just a bit too late now. Joe Thompson should hold on for that third place, and it's going to be a share of the spoils. Ashton Bowden's woes this year continue. Impressive start from Joe Thompson there, Al, especially down the back straight when he got ahead of Nikolai Clint at one point.
Yeah, to be fair, he was giving Nikolai a good battle going into that first couple of turns there, and I think Nikolai just managed to see him off and pull away. But yeah, good effort from Thompson. So the result of heat number 2 was a win for the rider in white, Nikolai Clint. Second to the rider in red, Drew Kemp. And third to the rider in blue, Joe Thompson, with Ashton Bowden at the back. A 3-all makes the progressive score 7 to the Leicester Lions, 5 to the Kings Lynn Stars, and 51 points apiece on aggregate.
Got 5 people watching us, Al.
Doing something right.
I don't think we have this many watching us when Palmer's here. Joe Thompson was really good on that first lap, found a bit of speed, but Nikolai Clint straight across his line into 3 and 4. Maybe put a bit of fear into Joe, and then Joe just let Drew come through to take up the chase. I thought Joe might have got him back there, but just didn't have enough pace. But he'll take that. Ashton
Yeah,
Bowden
Stuart
was
Dixon will be
nowhere near.
happy with that.
Ashton Bowden was nowhere near.
How he's still at Kings Lynn, I'll never know.
And now as a Glasgow fan, you get to see Ashton Bowden race a fair bit, and that's got to be a concern for you as well.
Yeah, it's a concern when he rides at Glasgow and he's that bad, but when he's riding in the Premier, he's not much better.
Yeah.
That's a fair concern.
Good bit of good news for you though, with Carl Elworth having to miss the meeting at Plymouth last weekend for Glasgow and missed the British final, but he's back fit and ready to go tonight.
Yeah, that's good news for us. Hopefully he'll be back to his usual form. So the lineup for...
Carry on.
Oh, when you go. Oh, the lineup for heat number 3. In blue off gate 1 is Kyle Howarth. In white off gate 2 is Jan Kovac. In red off gate 3 is Ryan Douglas. And off the outside in yellow is Richard Lawson.
Now the decision to bring Jan Kovac out in 1 makes sense, because he was off gate 2, which is the same gate he's on now.
Yeah, give him a little bit of practice off the same gate.
Well,
If he can't make a better start of it this time.
Didn't help him in the first one, let's be honest.
You never know, it might work this time.
Good
Not holding
looking
my
race,
breath.
this. Very good looking race. Carl Elworth's at the line and ready. He notoriously does pull up to the start quite early on. Track looks a bit wet, it looks really damp. Start Marshall walks away for heat number 3. Fairly even break. Ryan Douglas drops the clutch first, but Jan Kovac has got there over the top of Carl Howarth. Ryan Douglas going wide around 2, exiting down to the back straight. Carl Howarth has gone to the back of the field. Richard Lawson comes around the outside of Ryan Douglas, and momentarily Kings Lynn are on a 5-1, but Ryan Douglas comes back up the inside to split the Stars pairing and goes a bit wider that time. Richard Lawson's persisting with that outside line. Jan Kovac has learned from heat number 1 because he's streaking clear. Ryan Douglas steams up the inside, but just not quite close enough. Carl Elworth is starting to put a little bit of pressure on Richard Lawson there, but Richard Lawson's all over the back of Ryan Douglas as well. This is going to tie the meeting up on the day, and Richard Lawson comes up the inside of Ryan Douglas. What a pass. Richard Lawson comes through. Ryan Douglas is going to repay the favour, but Lawson holds it on around the outside, and that's a massive 5-1 to Kings Lynn with 1 lap to go. Hang on, I'm sure they've done 4 already.
I think they've only done 3.
Ryan Douglas is about to be passed by his teammate now as well. He didn't see Richard Lawson coming then, and this is a big 5-1 to Kings Lynn. to edge ahead on the night. Ryan Douglas looks frustrated. Guy, I've paid the price for a bad start. Yankovic did learn after the first race. Good ride by Richard Lawson, who's put himself into a solid enough position to get into second. And a quite comfortable 5-1 in the end for the Stars.
Yeah, solid ride there from Yankovic, managing to right a wrong from his first heat. And the result of heat number 3 was a win for the rider in white, Yankovic. Second to the rider in yellow, Richard Lawson. And third to the rider in red, Ryan Douglas. A 1-5 to Kings Lynn makes the progressive scores 8 to Leicester, 10 to Kings Lynn. And the aggregate score is 52 to Leicester, 56 to Kings Lynn.
Palmer's just commented on the stream, okay, all quiet now. I don't know what he's talking about. It's the only comment I've seen him post. Palmer, move round a little bit. Move in front of the camera so we can see you in your hobbling state.
He can't do that. He doesn't want to get caught at the speedway.
I mean, he goes to school every Friday and his boss is there.
Yeah, fair point. But yeah, good ding-dong battle between the three at the back there. Between Lawson and Howarth and Douglas.
Dougie just moved off that line a little bit and gave Lawson all the room he needed. Lawson, I think, took him by surprise here. I don't think Dougie was expecting him to come steaming under him. Brilliant move by Lawson. Dougie had to scrub off.
I thought that was going to end in carnage.
It was calculated. Carl Howarth was never in contention, to be honest. And that'll be a concern to you as well, Al.
Yeah. To be fair, he is just back from injury, so I wasn't expecting too much from him. And his first meeting back from his little injury.
Christian Everson rides at number 5 tonight for Kings Lynn. Raced there a bit last year and did really well. Maybe not started this season as good as last year.
No, he could have started a bit better, but I'm sure he'll pick it up as the season goes on.
Decent looking crowd here. Not the best of crowds, but decent enough, saying it's on BSN.
Yeah, I think that's maybe why it's not as big because people are watching it on the
Nikolai
telly
Clint
box.
replaces Ashton Bowden here.
Oh, well spotted.
Do you want to do the line about?
Yep, so the lineup for heat number 4. In blue off gate number 1 is Joe Thompson. In yellow off gate 2 is a reserve switch, Nikolai Clinton for Ashton Bowden. In red off gate 3 is Sam Masters. And off the outside in white is Niels Christian Everson.
Just waiting for Niels Christian Everson, and he does now oblige. Start Marshall walks away for number 4. Another fairly even break actually. Sam Masters got the drive and Joe Thompson's there with him. The lines have gated on 5-1. Joe Thompson cuts across Sam Masters' line there and Sam's about to go to the back. But Joe Thompson, the guest rising star, leads the race. Niels Christian Everson's trying to push Sam off and he's fell off and I think he's going to stay down for that one. And the race is Kinset red lights are on. Niels Christian Everson will be disqualified for that. He did slide off trying to push Sam wide. Joe Thompson had made a brilliant gate. And I'd imagine that will be rerun with a disqualification of Niels Christian Everson. Sam gone to check on him. I think he's alright. That bike ain't going anywhere. Medic's just checking he's all good. He was trying to force his way through Sam and Sam just was not budging. And his back wheel let go on him. Yeah, Niels will go for that. Sam's not done anything wrong there.
No.
And I'd be very surprised if we don't see the white exclusion light come on. And Joe Thompson was having a storming ride there.
Oh, he was doing absolutely brilliant out in front. He was gone and not even knowing what was happening behind him. But yeah, fair play to that young man.
He didn't do Sam the most favours on the first turn. He ran across his line a bit, but Sam's experienced enough to know to get back and just sit behind the less experienced rider, and that's what he was just about to do until Everson's back wheel let go.
The way that Thompson's been riding so far, do you think that'll be giving a few managers a food for thought in the
I reckon he'll be offered a Leicester contract before he leaves the track tonight. Carlo F making some substantial changes to the bike in the pits. Palmer went for a carvery before this meeting as well. I'm a little bit jealous by that, I won't lie.
So mad, to be fair.
The Leicester pits are really strange as well because they're back onto each other. If you're warming a bike up in there, my good God, it's not very fun. You've got the fumes off the bikes opposite coming at you. It's like a big gas chamber. So strange. And Joe Thompson's got to do all that again. Of Glasgow, I got a meeting this week, Al.
Oh, good question. I should know this, but good question.
I'm guessing by that answer you don't know.
I'm not actually 100% sure. Bear with me one moment, and I will be able to tell you.
And not Dan Thompson. Dan Jilks is there. Took a moment, but we got there in the end. Jilks is there, having a chin.
Oh yes,
wag.
we have got a meeting this week. We're at Scunthorpe tomorrow night.
You are at Scunny tomorrow night. I should know this. I'm doing Palmer's graphics for him. Oh my God.
Yep. Should be an interesting one.
Nicola Clint's helmet colours look too small for his helmets. I noticed this the other night when he was riding for Plymouth, I think. His helmet colours just look too small for his helmets. It was all riding up the back then as well. Strange. I think Everson has been excluded. No surprise by that. And it is 3 riders only. Al, over to you.
So the revised lineup for heat number 4 is in the blue helmet off gate 1 is Joe Thompson. In yellow off gate 2 is Nikolai Clint coming in for a reserve switch. And off gate number 3 is Sam Masters. And no rider off 4 because Mr. Everson decided to put the bike on the ground.
Don't think it was intentional. I think his back wheel just let go on him. It was close, but Sam was well within his right to hold his line, and Puck, as he's affectionately known to his mates, will have realised that that was just one of those things. Be interesting to see if Joe can replicate that start though, because he was flying there.
Yeah, hopefully he can replicate it, but it's not going to be easy against.
And when you watch Speedway, you know that the rider that was leading when it was stopped is usually the one that doesn't lead in the rerun. Start Marshall walks away, and Joe Thompson's made it again, and Nicola Clint hasn't. Sam Masters is there, Joe on the inside, Clint goes around the outside, Clint does get round the outside of Joe Thompson. Now this time Sam Masters has got the lead down the back straight. Nicola Clint's gone into that turn really hot, and he's out by the fence, and Joe Thompson comes through for second, and Leicester on a 5-1 at the end of the first lap. Nicola Clint just ran in, he two-wheeled it into the turn, he's done it again in turns 1 and 2. And Joe Thompson's going to pull away. Sam Masters is away and gone. He can go and have a burger and he'll still win. Joe Thompson's got his wheel in that dirt and he's just staying ahead. Nicola Clint two-wheeled it into turns 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 on that first lap. And now he's got to chase down the rising star for the Lions. Sam has a check back, but he can't really afford to slow down because Nicola Clint, if he gets past Joe, won't hesitate to get past Sam as well. Joe's riding a good line, but Nicola Clint is coming up the inside now and he's going to attempt to bully his Plymouth teammate out of the way. Joe Thompson runs a touch wide. Nicola Clint on the inside. Joe chops his nose off. Where's Nicola going to attack from on this last turn? He elects to go wide. Joe Thompson's got his wheel in the mid-track, and I think Joe Thompson is just going to hold on to that. I'll be interested to see what the ref made of that, but for me, Joe Thompson has just held on for that one.
That was close going over the line there.
I think Joe thinks he's held on, Sam thinks he's held on. Fist bump between the two Leicester riders, and I think that's a 5-1 to Leicester. But I'd be interested to see that on the line.
I'd like to see it from another angle.
Yeah, that angle weren't great for what we need to see.
Start Marshall thinks he's got it as well.
This angle will do us good though. Joe's way clear. Joe's got that by 2 bike lengths.
Yeah, Joe's got it.
And Joe Thompson as a guest rising star on 3 paid 5 now. That for me is enough to put himself in with the contract for for Leicester to replace Chelsea until Dan is able to come back. Result, Al?
Yep, and the result of heat number 4 was a win for the rider in red, Sam Masters. Second was his teammate, the rider in blue, Joe Thompson, and third to the rider in white, Nikolai Clint. A 5-1 to Leicester makes the scores 13 to Leicester, 11 to Kings Lynn. And the aggregate score is now all tied up again at 57 points apiece.
And while they have a quick track ride at Leicester out, do you want to bring us the result from the first few heats at Sheffield?
Yeah, let me just get the right one open, Alan. Come on, man. Let me just double check it. So we are 3 heats in at Sheffield, but the scores are 10 to Sheffield, 8 to Ipswich. Heat 1 went the way of Anders Rowe, getting the better of Adam Ellis and Jason Doyle with Jack Calder at the back. Heat 2 was a 4-2 courtesy of Lewis Kerr and Leon Flint over Dan Thompson and Jordan Jenkins. And Heat 3 was a 3-all with Pickering getting the better of Saifudanov and King. And Dan Thompson comes into Heat 4 to replace Jordan Jenkins at reserve.
Over at Oxford, it's the Oxford Spires 6 points, the Bellevue Aces 12 after 3 heats. Heat 1 was won by Brady Kurtz, with Peter Kilderman in second and Norrit Bladorn taking third. Matt Sainofsky finished at the back for a 4-2 for Bellevue. Heat 2 was won by Craig Cook, but the Aces pairing split with Luke Killeen at the back to make it a 3-all. And heat number 3 was a 5-1 to Bellevue, courtesy of Jamin Lindsay and Zach Cook over Rowan Tungate and Charles Wright finishing at the back. And the comment on Speedway Updates, the Aces are giving the Spires a lesson from the start. And Oxford, interestingly enough, the Spires team dropped Francis Gusts, and then the Cheetahs have snapped him up today to replace the man who's being interviewed now.
Yeah, that was an interesting move. Maybe he'll have better luck in the Championship than he did in the Premiership. I think that might have been a step too far for him.
I think he was fine in the Premiership, to be honest. I don't think it'll be the last time we see him in the Premiership with Oxford. I think there are certain riders in this Oxford team who really need to be a little bit concerned about their jobs. Certainly a Mr. Tungate, who's been crap all year.
Yeah, that's true. I'm actually...
Carry on.
Oh, I was going to say I've got Heat 4 actually now from over in Sheffield.
Read it out then. Give us the result.
It's not good news for Chris Holder. He just got 4-2'd by Dan Thompson and Tom Brennan to make the scores all level after 4 heats at 12 points apiece. With Dan Thompson winning Heat 4, would you believe it?
I'm going to shock you here.
Oh, go on.
Heat 4 at Oxford, Luke Killeen has fell off and has been excluded.
Oh dear.
He is one of these days, he's going to kill himself or somebody else. The fella's dangerous.
He's a dangerous rider.
Bellevue were on a 5-1 at the time with Dan Bewley and Jake Mulford, and Luke Killeen nearly wiped out Eric Riss, but Luke Killeen clips the inner curb and is excluded, and it'll be rerun with 3 riders only. There's 3 certainties in life: death, taxes, and Luke Killeen stacking it.
Yeah, that's fair. It's fair to say.
3 certainties.
Luke Killeen's dangerous.
He just never looks in control, does he?
No, he does not. He really doesn't look in control.
We'll have a little break after Heat 7 when they go on to the next track grade. There's no point having one now. I imagine we'll be underway again soon.
Yeah.
Oh, are you buying the stream to watch Glasgow tomorrow at Scunny?
I'll be buying it to watch it later on when I come back from Boys Brigade. But yes, I will be buying the stream.
Watch it on mute so you don't have to listen to Jessup.
Oh no, I don't think I could watch it listening to Jessup. Get world famous Scunny Dan back on there.
Sod world famous Scunny Dan. He's on to bigger and better things now.
Yeah, they won't even have him in the centre green tomorrow. Oh dear.
I know.
Yeah, I fear for whoever's going to have to cover him for the night.
That'll be an interesting meeting. What are your thoughts going into that? Scunny are very, very good at home, and I'm sure you'll have seen what they did to Workington last week as Charlotte interviews Joe Thompson. But your thoughts on tomorrow?
given how struggling Ashton Bowden is, and given Kyle's just back from injury, yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. We really need Kyle's experience from riding at Scunthorpe last season to help get us a nice win round there. But yeah, it will certainly be an interesting one to watch. Let's put it that way.
And Glasgow notoriously don't do brilliant at Scunny.
No, we've never really done that well at Scunthorpe. Maybe this season will be different. Who knows? I'm hoping young Dan Thompson will be a wonder whiz round there.
And he's done enough laps there because he's always doing the early season stuff there and doing practicing through the winter and stuff as well. Scunny is obviously one of those tracks that people can go to all through the winter pretty much, with amateur meetings and open classes and all of that sort of stuff. Speaking of your heat leader, Carlo, I've started this one off gate 4.
Yeah, he's up against, it's number 5 of Glasgow versus number 1. Because Chris Harris is in this one as well.
Can you read out quickly what gates have been won off so far?
So let me see. It's mostly so gate 4's won heats 1 and 4.
Yeah.
And heats 2 was won off gate 2, and gate 1 won heat number 3, so nothing off gate 3 yet.
And that is where Chris Harris finds himself this time. Nicola Clint comes in as the rider replacement for Ben Cook. Out, over to you, kid.
So the lineup for heat number 5, in off gate 1 in yellow is Nikolai Clint, the rider replacement. Gate 2 in red is Ryan Douglas. Gate 3 in white is Chris Harris. And off the outside in blue is Glasgow teammate Kyle Howarth.
Tigers off 3 and 4 this time. Plymouth off 1 and ex-Scunny off 2.
Oh, it's going to be interesting.
Nicola Clint will be hoping he'll be better than the last one. He was two-wheeling it. Every lap he two-wheeled it into the corners. Just did not look in control. Strange, because he should know this place. He's raced for Leicester as a home rider in the past.
I don't ever remember him riding for Leicester. That's the one I cannot remember.
For Leicester. 2014 maybe, sometime around then. Start Marshall brings the riders into order and walks away. Little twitchy there from Dougie, and Bombers made it off 3, but Dougie clamps his nose off and Carl Harris ran the outside of them both, and Leicester on a 5-1 again down the back straight of heat number 5. Chris Harris sticks to the inside. Ryan Douglas, this guy's wheeling the dirt on the outside. It's very rare you see Chris Harris on the inside of a rider. Now it's swapped. Ryan Douglas has come back down a little bit. Chris Harris is running in wide but cutting it back. Nicola Clint is way out the back. But Carl Howarth is away and gone, and whatever changes he was making to that bike have worked. Chris Harris is there or thereabouts on Ryan Douglas, but passing other than earlier on in the meeting is at a premium at the moment. Chris Harris is trying to make that cutback work, but Ryan Douglas just seems to be picking up the drive from the little bit of dirt around the mid-track area with his back wheeling it, and he's edging away now, and Chris Harris is starting to fall back. Nicola Clint's on the back of his teammate, but that don't really matter, and Leicester are half a lap away from extending their lead. Chris Harris is dropping back now, and that's going to be all she wrote for his challenge. Carl Howarth is going to take the flag with his partner behind him, and that's a big 5-1 to Leicester, and that now puts Leicester, it now puts Kings Lynn into tactical territory.
Yes, it does that actually, because they are now 6 points down, which is not good for Kings Lynn. But a cracking ride for Kyle Howard to get back to his usual form after his first ride out where he failed to score. So the result for heat number 5 is a win for the rider in blue, Kyle Howard. Second to the rider in red, Ryan Douglas, and third to the rider in white, Chris Harris, with Nikolai Clint at the back. 5-1 to Leicester makes the scores 18 to Leicester, 12 to Kings Lynn, and it makes it 62-58 on aggregate.
Dougie had a little bit of a nibble there. Maybe a bit lucky to get away with that. Gate 4's working nicely. 3 wins out of the first 5 heats. Still nothing off gate 3, and Chris Harris struggled there. And interestingly enough, Ben Cook's rider replacement has failed to score from 2 outings so far. And with a rider of Nicola Clint's experience to be on 4 points out of a potential 9, he's just not good enough, is it, from a Kings Lynn point of view?
No, they would have been expecting him to do better especially down at reserve. They would have expected him to at least be on, I would have said, 7 points at least by now.
That looks like Tobias Thompson standing over there having a good chinwag. He's got a pool coat on, very much looks like D&D Media's cult hero, Tobias Thompson.
You're not going to believe it, for a third race in a row, Nikolai Clint's in it.
I reckon Ashton Bergen will replace him in this one. I think the reserves will swap back.
A little replay of that last one again.
Dougie had a nibble. The tapes, I think the
Clint
tapes
had a nibble
may
as
have
well.
just gone. Yeah, Ashton Bergen comes in yellow for Nikolai Clint. And poor Luke Becker off the graveyard gate at the moment, and Ashton Bergen goes off the good gate, so I don't think somehow that gate 4 is winning this one.
So the lineup for heat number 6 in red off gate number 1 is Max Frick. In gate 2 in white is Niels Christian Everson. Gate 3 in blue, or the graveyard, is Luke Becker. And off the outside in yellow, it's a reserve substitute. It's Ashton Bergen in for Nikolai Clint.
Max Frick looked very impressive in his first race. Ashton Bergen started quite well in Heat 2 but went backwards. That's been a theme of his season. He's been gating. It's just after he comes out at the start the issues start. Al, are you dead?
No, I'm not dead.
He's alive.
Not dead at all.
There's Christian Everson, the last rider to settle off gate 2. Start Marshall's not happy with his position. He is now, walks away. And Leicester have gated on a 5-1. Max Frick leads the way. Luke Becker goes wide. He's going to go wider and try and get around the outside of Max Frick now. Ashton Bergen's there or thereabouts. Luke Becker's dropped his nose, chopped the nose off of Niels Christopherson, dropped it on him. And Leicester are on another 5-1. Max Frick leads the way after the first lap with Luke Becker in second. And Niels Christian Everson third. Ashton Bergen, after an okay start, is tailed off at the rear of the field. Already Max Frick looks impeccable. He's away and gone. And Luke Becker made a really good gate there off the graveyard as well. Max Frick clamped Niels Christian Everson down nicely, and that was all Luke Becker needed to come around the outside of him. Leicester are going to pull even further clear now. Nobody's going to challenge Max Frick, and Luke Becker's comfortable in second. Ashton Bergen's pretty much a straight behind Max Frick at this point, and Niels Christian Everson's not really making any ground on Luke Becker either. And passing's a bit of a premium at the moment, I think it's fair to say, Al.
Yeah, it's not easy to pass on this track tonight by the looks of things.
Everson went wide off the last turn, but Becker had it covered, and that was all she wrote.
Not a good night for Ashton Bergen. Maybe getting himself a new car at this rate.
Has he had any good nights this year yet? I don't think I remember one.
No.
It's not nice to see a British kid doing as badly as he is, but he just looks like he's got no confidence.
Yeah, that's fair to say. So the result of heat number 6 was a win for the rider in red, Max Frick. Second was his teammate, the rider in blue, Luke Becker, and third to the rider in white, Niels Christian Everson. A 5-1 to Leicester Lions extends their score to 23 to Leicester, 13 to Kings Lynn, and it's 67 points to 59 on aggregate. This stage, I think Power will be hoping for a 2-4 in the next one. Or
yeah,
you know what?
To Kings Lynn in the next one. Luke Becker actually made the best of the start there off gate 3 for the from the graveyard. It may have actually woken up now. Max Frick did well there to chop Niels Christian Everson's nose off. He was just coming up the inside of Luke Becker and allowed Becker around the outside, and that was pretty much it. And Drew Kemp always does that little sideways slide as he comes to the start. It looks like he's coming in way too fast and then whacks a little bit of a drift on him.
Yeah, he does, to be fair. Let's hope he doesn't slide off doing that. But the lineup for heat number 7 in white off gate number 1 is Yankovic. Gate 2 in red is Sam Masters. Gate 3, or the graveyard, in yellow is Richard Lawson. And off the outside in blue is Drew Kemp.
And this pairing for Kings Lynn got a 5-1 together last time out, although Richard Lawson had to work hard for it. Sam Masters was fairly comfortable in the rerun of Heat 4 as well, and Drew Kemp got a solid second place in Heat number 2. And Kings Lynn now find themselves 10 points down, and there's an RR in Heat 8. You obviously can't do a tactical in there. And I'd imagine Nikolai Clint is going to be that RR, but I haven't been very impressed by anything I've seen from him tonight yet, to be honest, so I don't think Leicester will be too concerned about that.
If anything, I'd be putting him in for Bowsion in 8 and then using the RR as a tack sub, maybe Harris or something.
You can't do a tactical in Heat 8.
Oh, no, you can. Sorry, that's true.
Protected race for the 2 and 7s. You can't do a reserve change in 8 either. It's got to be the Rising Star in number 2.
Yeah, well, it's going to be a difficult one for them.
And this is where the decision to put Yankovic in Heat 1 probably comes back to bite them.
Yeah, because they could have used him in Heat 8 as the RR. Oh dear.
It's only Nicola Clint and Ashton Bowsion who can take the RR rides now.
Oh dear.
Start Marshal calls the riders into line. Richard Lawson is the last one to settle. And that's a good gate for the rider in white off the inside. Both the Kings Lynn boys have actually made the gate. Sam Masters gets boxed out of it. Drew Kemp round the outside of both the Kings Lynn riders.
What a ride!
Yankovic up the inside, but Drew Kemp's just got his nose ahead at the moment, and he's got his wheel in the dirt as well. Yankovic's going to chop his nose off here, and Richard Lawson's going to come up the inside, and Kings Lynn are on a 5-1. Drew Kemp just got caught in a little bit of no man's land there. He's trying to go around Richard Lawson, and he has gone around Richard Lawson, and Sam Masters has come up the inside of Richard Lawson. And a 5-1 to Kings Lynn's now turned into a 3-all of a sudden. Sam Masters on the inside, Drew Kemp is on the outside, Richard Lawson's buzzing around all over the place, but Sam Masters can team ride very, very effectively. And Drew Kemp's got some speed in that bike. Yankovic's bounced back after a tough first race when he took the RR in Heat 1. Feel a little bit like Drew maybe slowing Sam down a touch here. Sam has a peek over his shoulder. Drew's going wide around the outside. Sam's going to clamp Richard Lawson down. Richard Lawson is level with Drew Kemp, but Drew's just going to bring it back to the inside off this fourth turn. And barring anything special, it's going to be a share of the spoils. Yankovic takes the flag. The two Leicester boys pack in second and third, although Richard Lawson was very close over the line. I'd be interested to see that one back. I think it was a 3-all, but Richard Lawson was very close to the back
Richard
wheel
was
of,
close
of
at that
Drew
line,
Kemp,
so I wasn't sure.
I think it was a 3-all. That is Tobias Thompson watching on you. Are they going to show us a replay or give us a result?
Which one are we getting?
Are we getting a replay?
Oh, we get the replay.
Nah, Drew's got it.
Nah, Drew's got it.
So I had Richard Lawson as my rider to watch. He ain't been overly great.
So the result
Oh,
of heat
way,
number 7 was a win for the rider in white, Yankovic. Second to the rider in red, Sam Masters. Third to the rider in blue, Drew Kemp. A 3-all makes the scores 26 to Leicester, 16 to the Kings Lynn Stars. And it makes the score 70 points to 62 on aggregate.
Any updates from Sheffield?
Let's have a look, shall we? See if there is an update for you. Oh, I've got a few races here. So, heat number 5 was a 3-all with Josh Pickering getting the better of Jason Doyle and Adam Ellis. Heat number 6 was a 5-1 to Sheffield with Jack Holder and Anders Rowe getting the better of Tom Brennan and Dan Thompson. And heat number 7 was a 3-all with Louis Kerr retiring at the back and Chris Holder beating Emil Saifudanov and Danny King to make the current score 23 to the Sheffield Tigers, 19 to the Ipswich Witches.
We've had the rerun of Heat 4 at Oxford since we carried on, and that was a 4-2 to Bellevue, with Dan Bewley taking the win, Eric Riss splitting the aces, and Jake Mulford in third to make the progressive score 8 points to 16 and 45-69 to Bellevue on aggregate. Hooray!
Hooray! We have got another chance for that special number still here on aggregate.
We have, yeah. Kings Lynn needs 7 points to hit that magic number, which Palmer absolutely
Palmer's
loves.
favourite number.
I don't think there's any track grading going on. I can't see a tractor going around anyway. They
No.
are having a break. They're going to sort of bomb out. Oh, shall we take a quick minute?
Yeah, why not?
And we are back from our little 5 minutes, as we'll call it, even though it was only about two. There's been one heat ran at Oxford during that little break. With Heat 5, the Bellevue Aces gated on a 5-1, but it actually turned out to be a 3-all, with Brady Kurtz taking the win from Charles Wright and Rowan Tungate with Norwich Bladorn at the back. Makes the progressive scores 11 points to 19. And Oxford in tactical territory on home shale. There has actually been another heat now. Heat 6 was won by the rider in white Dan Bewley, with Matt Sainofsky and Peter Kilderman packing in the places, and Tate Zishki at the back. Makes the progressive score now 14 points to 22. The problem is, where do Oxford use a tactical? That's the question. Anything from Sheffield from you, Al, or are we having a bit of a breather at Sheffield?
I believe it must be a break
No,
at
let's head over to the BSN
Sheffield
booth.
because nothing's happened since heat number 7.
BSN are showing the Save Coventry Speedway banner that seems to be doing the rounds at tracks recently. Does seem to be some positive vibes coming out of Coventry, at least.
Yeah, hopefully they might make it back into the league in the near future. Here's hoping.
We can but hope. We can only hope.
And a bit of obviously sad news for yourselves at Birmingham, obviously.
Nothing's been
Ending
announced
at the
yet, Al.
end of the season.
Nothing's been
Has it
announced,
not been
yet,
announced?
Al.
I thought it had been.
No, you've just made that up.
Oh, sorry, I must have picked that up wrong. In the near future. My apologies.
Just doing a sound check on our YouTube and it's working. So that's something. That always helps.
Yeah, that always helps.
Bit of unfortunate news for Daniel Hume though, who's been today released by Birmingham to fit back in Matty Zagar. And you're on your way down to Birmingham a week from Monday. You're starting your little England tour at, I think you start at Scunny next Friday, don't you?
Yep, start at Scunny next Friday, and then I think I'm at potentially at Leicester on Sunday if I can be bothered to go to the Leicester National Development League. And then off to Brum on Monday, and then Oxford on the Wednesday. And then if I'm not at Leicester on the Sunday, I'll be at Leicester on the Thursday, and then up to Redcar on the Friday.
Fair play, Mush.
And back here in Glasgow on Saturday.
So you've got 6 days of travelling to do. What are you doing? Train?
So I think it'll be mix of train and bus.
Crikey.
Yeah.
No,
Although I'm having to, the first day I'm having to get the train down to straight to Scunthorpe, and it's not cheap.
trains are quite expensive. I bet you'd have probably been cheaper to just drive it all. As expected,
put it this way,
Nicola
it's,
Clint takes the RR for Kings Lynn. Carry on now.
It's like 60 odd quid for the train down.
God,
Yeah.
They are expensive, aren't they? My God. Dan Gilk sitting having a chinwag in Drew Kemp's pit bay. One of those really strange crashes for Gilksy. I don't think you were watching at the time where you'd gone to football. His wheel just seemed to dip into the floor, and that
If
was
we move
about
tracks.
it. I don't think this is live. It's got to be live. This might be live. They might just have a camera at Oxford. I don't know. I don't know what they're doing. I don't think they know what they're doing.
They're doing your job for you.
I don't know what we're doing. I think they're just showing a little bit of action from Oxford. I don't know. I honestly have no idea.
BSN, can you confirm what's going on?
This is live. Well, sort of. It's a past heat. I think this is heat 3. Yeah, it's 3 and 4 versus 3 and 4. This was heat 3, where Bellevue got a 5-1. Charles Wright and Ryan Tungate were trying to wipe each other out. This is new.
Yeah, I never had this before from BSN.
Yeah, this is different. It looks like thrilling entertainment. I'm glad they've chose to stream Leicester tonight. At least there's been a little bit of passing. Ryan Tungate and Charles Wright spent the entire race then racing each other. And Charles Wright had issues with Peter Kilderman the other week as well. Is it weird that I'm thinking now Charles Wright may be the problem instead of the people he's paired with?
Yeah.
And the fella who spanners for Niels Christian Everson, his name slipped my mind, but he's been partnered with him for bloody years. Robbie Kesserton or something like that, I'm sure that's his name.
Okay.
He's spanned for him for years. Whenever you see Puck around, you see the long-haired fella. I'm sure it's Robbie Kesselton or something like that. Oh, ouch! That was Luke Killian's crash. It looked like his footrest dug into the floor.
Ooh.
The riders are ready here to go out. They're just still doing some track grading. And this will see Luke Becker and Joe Thompson versus Nicola Clint and Ashton Bowden. I'll tell you what, based on tonight's form, this could be another 5-1 to Leicester.
Yeah, I don't see Ashton or Nikolai been able to do much against Becker and Thompson, given how well they've been going. Yeah, Palmer, you stand there. You stand there and look disappointed.
He's been crap as well.
Yeah.
Since moving to number 1, he struggled. He got like, what, 3 points at Ipswich the other day? And he's on 3 points from 2 rides tonight as well. And now there is a bit of action, so it looks like we're starting to get ready now. And it's a finely poised meeting, this Al.
Yeah, it's poised, to be fair. Hopefully there'll be some more passing now that they've had a bit of track grading. Maybe the outside line will start to be working a bit more. God, I thought that was Stuart Dixon's twin brother there. Who was standing beside him.
Looks like Nicola Clint may have... oh no, it's just going around to look at the start line. Does this helmet colour... Ah, he ain't got an helmet colour on this one. It's just his helmet. But his helmet colours look far too bloody small for his head.
Yeah.
Perhaps he's gone and robbed kids' ones.
You never know. Never know indeed.
Oh, what gate was Heat 7 one off, Mush? I ain't made a note
Heat
of
7 was one off gate number 1.
Gate 1 and 4 have both got 3 wins apiece. Gate 2's got 1 and Gate 3 has none. But it has got a paid win in Luke Becker. I hope these rules ain't changed.
I don't think
Luke
you're allowed
Becker's
to do
got
that.
issues. You never used to be able to ride over the track. He's back
And
in
he's
the pits.
back in the pits now.
What's going on here?
He'll be excluded.
He's gone straight back into the pits. Bit of drama here for Luke Becker.
Yeah, not sure what's going on there.
He will be excluded because I don't think you're allowed to ride over the grass. You never used to be unless that rule's changed. And once you're on the track, you're not allowed to go back into the pits either. Something was loose. His back wheel was loose.
If he gets away with that, I'll be very
I
surprised.
think he's going to be excluded for that. You know, I don't think the ref will let him back in. He's got 48 seconds to go, but he's gone across the centre green. Unless that rule's been quietly removed again, but you weren't allowed to do that. And once you left the track, once you came onto it, you used to be excluded. I'll be interested to see if he's at the start line in time or whether he's disqualified for A, going over the centre green, and B, going back to the pits. Looks like he's going to be fine.
Well, I'm very surprised at that. Well, the lineup for heat number 8 in blue off gate 1 is... Oh no, it's not, sorry. In yellow off gate 1 is Ashton Bowsian. Blue off gate 2 is Joe Thompson. In white off gate 3, the rider replacement, Nikolai Clint. And off the outside in red, somehow, is Luke Becker.
Yeah, that's a strange one, that. I know you weren't allowed to ride over the grass up until... You weren't even allowed to do it last year. So Start Marshall walks away then, and it's a good gate by Ashton Bowsian has gated, but Nikolai Clint has not. Joe Thompson's on the inside, Becker's on the outside. Becker goes straight round the outside of Ashton Bowsian, but Ashton's holding it tight. Becker's wide, Ashton's not going to go wide enough, and Becker's going to go round the outside of him. Joe Thompson's ahead of Nikolai Clint, although Nikolai Clint's just putting Joe under some pressure now. Ashton Bowsian made a really good start there, Nikolai Clint didn't. Joe Thompson looks like he's got no speed in this one. Ashton's slowing down, Becker's miles clear. Ashton's in second here and doesn't look like he's under too much pressure. It's his team partner Nikolai Clint behind him, and Joe Thompson has gone to the back, but he's had a very good night up until this point. And Luke Becker's miles clear. Ashton Bowsian steady in second, although very conservative. Nikolai Clint's just trying to hold himself back enough to protect Ashton, and Joe Thompson's not really close, to be honest. But it's going to be a share of the spoils thanks to Luke Becker, who nearly stacks it there, but he's going to bring it round, and the Kings Lynn boys are going to pack in second and third, and that will do Ashton's confidence some good.
Yeah, I'm surprised that he's been allowed to race in that one, but getting the win as well. Not sure if Kings Lynn will have something to say about that.
The rule might have been changed. They're good at secretly changing rules, to be fair. But I'd imagine Nikolai Clint or Rob Lyon or somebody will be asking the question.
And the result of heat number 8 was a win for the rider in red, Luke Becker. Second to the rider in yellow, Ashton Bowsian. And third to the rider in white, Nikolai Clint. A 3-all makes the progressive scores 29 to Leicester, 19 to Kings Lynn, and it's 73-65 on aggregate.
Oh, man. Berger made a good one, but he went far too conservative, left way too much room on the outside, and Becker never needs a second invitation to go into it straight round him like he was stood still, and that was all she rode. Joe was there early on, but he rode a bit conservatively there. It's strange. He almost looked like his confidence had just gone in a split second. On to Heat 9 now, Al.
Yep, and we see Nikolai Clint out again for
No.
ride number 5.
No, that's Niels Christian Everson.
Or is that Bowsian in yellow?
No, that's Jankovic. There's no changes in this. Jankovic's tactical. In for...
According to my programme,
there's tactical
Nikolai Clint's
substitute.
supposed to be.
Yeah, Nikolai Clint's been subbed out for Jankovic.
Well, the lineup for heat number 9 in white off gate number 1 is Niels Christian Everson. In blue off gate 2 is Kyle Howarth. In yellow off gate 3, the tactical substitute Jan Kovac. And off the outside in red, Ryan Douglas.
I mean, I don't understand this one, to be honest. Jankovic's going well, but he's off the gate that's got no wins. And he's partnering Niels Christian Everson, who's got 1 point from 2 rides.
Bit bizarre, that one.
Against a pairing that got a 5-1 in their last race together. It's a strange decision, this.
And maybe would have saved it.
I'd have probably put it in for the RR in Heat 11.
Yeah, when you're off a slightly better gate.
I don't know why you'd put the tactical in off the gate that's not won a race yet.
We'll see. Rob Lyon clearly thinks he knows what he's doing.
We'll find out now. As the start marshal pulls the riders into line, Everson, as everyone else pulls forward, Everson pulls backwards. In your own time, mate.
Come on, Everson.
He pulls into line now. Start marshal's ready. Still ain't settled though, he's still pissing around. Walks away. Tapes fly, and it's a good start for the rider in red. Ryan Douglas, Niels Christian Everson even goes straight to the outside, but Ryan Douglas keeps it pegged on. Jankovic comes up the inside. Niels Christian Everson's gone to the back now. It's Ryan Douglas leading the way. Niels Christian Everson screws it on wide around his team partner, but they're still both behind Ryan Douglas, and Carl Ellis dive bombing up the inside as well now. The 2 Kings Lynn boys are on the inside. Ryan Douglas and Carl Ellis are on the inside, proper inside. Ryan Douglas has now moved wide. Jankovic covering the inside, Niels Christian Everson covering the outside. Douglas seems to have this in hand. Carl Ellis has got a bit of speed, but he's not making any ground up. And if it stays like this, the tactical substitute will be wasted. Jankovic is trying to force Dougie wide, but Dougie knows his way around this track now. And one more lap to hold on, and it's going to be a share of the spoils, and the tactical will be wasted. Everson's putting a bit of pressure on Dougie now, but Dougie's found a bit of speed. Everson's going to try and dive bomb him, but Dougie holds it on, and Carl Ellis given up at the back. Dougie takes the flag from Everson, and Kovac with Howarth at the back. It's shit or bust for Howarth at the minute. He's either winning or he's last.
Pretty much, yeah. He's either winning or he's not winning.
He's winning or he's not scoring.
Yeah, well, that's true. And the result of heat number 9 was a win for the rider in red, Ryan Douglas. Second to the rider in white, Niels Christian Everson. Third to the rider in yellow, Jankovic. And the rider in blue, Kyle Howarth at the back. A 3-all makes a progressive score of 32 to Leicester, 22 to Kings Lynn. And it makes aggregate score 76 to the Leicester Lions, 68 to the Kings Lynn Stars.
And that's another win off gate number 4. So the gate stats after 9 heats. Gate 1 has had 3 wins, Gate 2 has had a single win, Gate 3 has had no wins, and Gate 4 has had 5 wins. So Gate 4 is the place to be at the moment. Kyle Ellis got clamped down to the inside exiting 4 there by Jankovic. That was essentially his race over. He was there or thereabouts, but the Kings Lynn boys team rode it perfectly. But when you're 10 points down and you got a tactical in, you don't need to be team riding it to share a heat. And Dougie, after that disappointing first one, has clicked into gear a little bit here.
There's going to be Looks like there's going to be a delay in the next one with
Yankovic's got 2 on the
Yankovic having
bounce.
2.
Do you get any updates from Sheffield, Al?
I'm just having a look just now. So, we've had 4 heats at Sheffield. Heat number 8 was won by the rider in white, Adam Ellis, with Leon Flint and Anders Rowe taking 2nd and 3rd. Heat number 9 was won by Tom Brennan, with Pickering and Sedgman packing in the minor places. Dan Thompson fell in that race. Heat number 10 was won by Emil Saifudanov, with Jack Holden and Anders Rowe taking 2nd and 3rd. And heat number 11 was won by Jason Doyle, with Chris Holder in 2nd and Adam Ellis in 3rd. For a 4-2 to Ipswich to make the current scores 34 to the Sheffield Tigers, 32 to the Ipswich Witches.
They're going a little bit slower at Oxford. We've had 1 race since we last spoke from there. Zach Cook fell in the initial staging of Heat 7 and was disqualified. And in the rerun, Jamin Lindsay took the flag from Eric Riss and Craig Cook for a 3-all to make the progressive scores 17 to 25. And as Al rightly pointed out, there's a little bit of a delay while the ref allows a little bit of extra time at his discretion for Yankovic with 2 on the bounce. I wonder if Palmer's enjoying his evening. I know he was buzzing earlier when he messaged me because the hotel he's staying in has got a cake shop right next door to it.
Oh, get in.
So he says that we don't buy it unless you have cake. Well, Palmer will have cake tonight.
Well, I'm just looking at this heat number 10, and given the fact that Kings Lynn have got gates 1 and 3...
Again?
Which, yeah. I'm hoping that goes a 5-1 the way of Leicester. For one reason and one reason only.
I know what that reason is, Al. Because you're impartial.
Oh, I'm totally impartial, of course.
Totally unbiased. Luke Becker's here in plenty of time this time. No last minute issues. Max Frick's looked impeccable so far tonight.
Yeah, 2 rides, 2 wins.
These pits are so strange. How cramped they are is ridiculous.
I don't know why they can't make the pits just that little bit bigger.
I don't know why they need to back onto each other. Sod that.
So the lineup for heat number 10. In yellow off gate number 1 is Richard Lawson. Gate 2 in blue is Luke Becker. In white off gate 3, out for his 5th ride, is Yankovic. And off the outside in yellow, no, I've got this wrong.
Red.
Off the outside in red is Max Frick.
Yankovic again takes tactical in the last one off 3. He's out in 3 in this one. Didn't work last time out. Let's see if it does this time, but it's going to take something quite special to beat Max Frick on the form Max Frick has been on.
What I have noticed is Kovac is better in his own heats than when he gets brought in.
Yeah, you're right. Start Marshall walks away. It's a fairly even break. Becca Snakes and the Kings Lynn boys have both gated. Max Frick has absolutely missed it from the outside, and Kings Lynn are on a 5-1 at the end of the first lap. Luke Becker snaked out at the start. That was pretty much his race over. Max Frick's gone high, wide and handsome. Got the high and wide part, but there's no handsome about it. He's still beyond the Kings Lynn duo. He is putting pressure on, and he is quicker as well, looking at this. Kings Lynn pair are just team riding it nicely at the moment. Richard Lawson's on the inside, Yankovic on the outside. Max Frick is trying, and he's fast. It's just whether he can find a way through. He's screwing it on around the outside, but Richard Lawson's covering the inside and then drifting up. Max Frick is definitely the quicker of all the riders on the track. It's just is the room to pass. Luke Becker's nowhere near, to be honest. His race was screwed from the moment he snaked from the start. Max Frick has stuck to that outside line. I don't think he's going to have enough in hand to make a pass. He's going to have to go balls to the wall here on the last turn, and I don't think he's going to be able to do it. And Kings Lynn take a big 5-1 with Richard Lawson and Yankovic over Max Frick and Luke Becker. Did not see that one coming.
No, I did not, to be fair. I asked for a 5-1, I got a 5-1 as I asked for, to be fair.
And that's the first heat win, I think, off gate 3.
Yes, you would be correct.
Max Frick made
And
the
you know,
worst gate of his night in the race where he probably didn't need to be doing that.
and the results of heat number 10 were a win for the rider in white, Yankovic, second to the rider in yellow, Richard Lawson, and third to the rider in red, Max Frick. 1 to the Leicester Lions and 5 to the Kings Lynn Stars. Make the scores 33 to Leicester, 27 to Kings Lynn. And on aggregate, that makes the scores now 77 to Leicester, 73 to Kings Lynn.
Luke Becker's race was over there as soon as he snaked out of that start, and I imagine it can only either be Nicola Clint or Ashton Bowden taking the RR for Kings Lynn in 11. What gate's RR on?
Gate RR is on gate 4. Gate 4.
Was Bowden on 4 when he got his second in his last one or 2?
Bowden was off gate 1.
1.
Yeah. I'd probably go Nikolai Clint, I
I'd
can't
probably
lie.
go Ashton Bowden, to be honest. He looked quicker in his last one, and other than winning Heat 2, Nicola Clint only scored 2, paid 3 from the other 3 rides he's taken up to now. I'd give Ashton Bowden a run out, and he's with his mentor Chris Harris, so...
Yeah, that's true. I'll give you that one.
And it's Nicola Clint. Because he's been absolutely fantastic tonight. Not.
And the lineup for heat number 11, in red off gate number 1 is Sam Masters. In white off gate number 2 is Chris Harris. In blue off gate 3 is Drew Kemp. And off the outside in yellow is Nikolai Clint.
Oh man, these ones need to bog off.
Chris Harris will be hoping to score some more points than his 3 points so far.
He's been a bit crap tonight, hasn't he? Let's just call a spade a spade. He hasn't been very good.
No, he better not be this bad for Glasgow on Friday at Scunthorpe.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
This will be one that Sam Masters will be hoping to drop the clutch nice and quickly and out-gate Bomber, who's notoriously bad but has got better at gating in the last couple of seasons. And to be honest, even Chris Harris couldn't make an outside pass work on a track like this from the back, because it's just a bit gate and go-y in it. There's not a lot of passing. So the start marshal calls the riders into order. Drew Kemp not quite settled, he is now. Start marshal walks away, green light comes on, and away we go. Chris Harris has missed it. Sam Masters is there, Drew Kemp's there, Nicola Clint's there from the outside as well. Drew Kemp needs to come across Nicola Clint and does so. Sam Masters up the inside, and Leicester are on a 5-1. Nicola Clint put his leg down halfway down the straight. It's almost like he shit himself and bailed out a little bit. He's getting high, wide and handsome though. Drew Kemp keeps it held on, but he's got past Sam Masters now. Nicola Clint, Sam's going to hold it down low and going to try and come past him, and he's just not quite there yet. Chris Harris is at the back. There's not quite the line on the outside for Bomber to do normal Bomber things. Sam's not as impressive in this as he has been tonight. Nicola Clint's riding a solid second. Chris Harris is buzzing around, but there's not a lot outside. Sam Masters is definitely quicker than Nicola Clint. Drew Kemp made the start. He's got his head down and he's going, and he looks comfortable. Chris Harris looks not comfortable at the back. Yeah. Nicola Clint's riding a good defensive ride. Sam Masters is persisting with that inside line. Clint's moved off it slightly, but Sam's not quite got enough to get around him, and I think this is going to be how she finishes. Nicola Clint pegs it down low off the last turn. Drew Kemp takes flag from Nicola Clint, Sam Masters and Chris Harris at the back.
Yeah, Harris a little bit disappointing there. In that one, I have to say.
Just in that one?
Yeah. Particular that one, but yeah, overall he's been rather disappointing.
And Ben Cook's ride replacement finishes the evening on 3+1.
Yeah, not good for that rider replacement at all. Ben Cook probably would have scored more.
Yeah.
But yeah, the result for heat number 11 was a win for the rider in blue, Drew Kemp. Second to the rider in yellow, Nikolai Clint, and third to the rider in red, Sam Masters, with Chris Harris buzzing about at the back trying to do Bomber things. A 4-2 to the Leicester Lions makes the scores 37 to the Leicester Lions, 29 to the Kings Lynn Stars, and it's 81 points to 75 on aggregate.
And for the second race in a row, Gate 3 provides the winner. We've gone from no wins off there before Heat 10 to back-to-back wins off Gate 3. Chris Harris was miles at the back in truth there. Just never looked like passing, and this track's just not giving enough out there to be pulling bomber moves, is it? And he has struggled since going to number 1. I think Alan's dead.
No, you're right. I was engrossed by the replay. Sorry.
We can just hear banging. I thought you'd like collapsed or something.
No, not at all. But I think there is going to probably be a delay in this one with Nikolai Clint having 2 rides back to back, unless Ashton Bowden comes out.
There might be the interval now.
Or it might be the interval. Who knows?
Jilksy and Kemp having a good chinwag in the pits. Such strange pits here. Charlotte's going to interview Drew Kemp there. He's been solid enough tonight. 6+1 from his 3 rides so far.
Yeah, Stuart will be happy with that one. I think he'll be happy with most of his riders, to be fair. Even Joe Thompson, who's only on.
Joe's been great.
5.
Carl Eworth's been the concern.
Yeah, Haworth. Yeah, I'll give you that.
He looked impressive in the race he won, but he's not looked impressive in the 2 he came last in. Drew Kemp and Joe Thompson have been fantastic.
I think the bigger concerns for Rob Lyon at Kings Lynn.
Leicester's reserves have scored 9+3 between the 2 of them. Kings Lynn's have scored 9+1 between them, with Nikolai Clint getting 7+1 of that.
Yeah, that's quite concerning.
Ashton Berger, a good second last time out. I don't think we'll see Ashton Berger again tonight, if I'm honest. Although Nikolai Clint's only got 2 rides left, so he can do his own ride in whichever one of 12 and 14 it is, and he can take Ashton's in the other. Trying to spy Palmer. That's around about where he's standing. I think that's him there on his phone, leaning over the fence, white hat on. Next to the fella in the red coat.
Oh, too late. BSN decided to go.
Do you want to quickly run us through the scores that are
on the screen? So
yeah.
For the Leicester Lions, Max Frick 7, Luke Becker 6+1, Ryan Douglas 6+1, Kyle Haworth 3, Sam Masters 6, Drew Kemp 6+1, and Joe Thompson 3+2. The Kings Lane, Chris Harris 3, Yankovic 10+1, Richard Lawson 4+3, Neil Christian Everson 3, Nikolai Clint 7+1, and Ashton Bowden 2. Just going to look and see if there's any updates from afar.
That was Palmer.
It was.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not surprised. I believe I've got 2 race update. Hold on. What did we get to last? I've got 1 race update, which was heat number 12, which was won by the rider in red, Josh Pickering. Jordan Jenkins replaced Dan Thompson in that one, with Saifudanov taking 2nd and Jenkins 3rd. Another 3 all makes the current scores, with 3 heats to go. 37 to Sheffield, 35 to Ipswich. Any updates from
There's been
Oxford?
1 heat at Oxford, heat 8. Bellevue gated on a 5-1, but Peter Kilderman flew past both the aces to take the flag from Norbert Bladorn and Jake Mulford, and Luke Killeen at the rear, and he stays on 0. He's crap, innit? Makes a progressive score on the night now. 20 points to Oxford, 28 points to Bellevue. Little team meeting going on between the Kings Lynn boys. I think we're going to take a little interval. We ain't going to bother because they'll probably be started again by the time we get back, so we'll just stay on. That was Palmer in the white hat as well. Happy days.
Happy days. He's even got himself on the old telly box.
There's no way Palmer can say that wasn't him now.
Yep. Can't even deny it.
Poor Palmer. At least he's got the cake shop to go to after, eh? I'm more worried at the
that's
fact Cal wasn't stood next to him at that moment. He's either eaten him or Cal's left him.
Or Cal's up getting food, maybe.
Maybe. Although looking at the picture of the carvery that Palmer sent, I'd be full for the next 3 days.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
Let's have a look at the British Speedway fixtures, shall we, and see if we can figure out when our next watch-along's going to be.
Let's have a nosy.
I need to see when the BSN fixtures are. I know they've got some coming up as well. I just don't know quite when they are.
I'll get the BSN ones up on my computer for you, sir.
Oh boy.
So they're next year. They're in fact they're at Scunthorpe tomorrow, actually.
Yeah, they are. We can't do a watch along to that though.
And then they've got the British under-21 final on Sunday, but
which we can't do a watch along because you're at Boys Brigade. That ruined that plan.
It did, didn't it? I'm trying to get the upcut. I want to view all. Let me view all. Let me view all BSN.
BSN are not doing you a solid here, Ram.
Nope, they are not indeed.
I'm trying to find the full fixture list on their Facebook graphic they put out. Found it. April and May's fixtures. Thursday the 22nd, we have the Oxford Spires versus the Sheffield Tigers on BSN. Might do a watch along to that.
Saturday. Monday, they've got nothing on Monday. I'm very surprised. There's 3 matches on. Or Wednesday. Yeah, it'll be Thursday. It'll be Thursday between
Monday, Mush. Discovery are on at Bellevue Leicester is on Discovery Monday.
It'll probably be Oxford Sheffield on Thursday.
On BSN, yeah, Oxford and Sheffield is on
22nd. Unless, well, no, it's the development individuals was if they wanted to do it on the Wednesday on Pool TV.
That's been changed.
Has that been changed?
It's been moved to sometime in June, I think.
Yes, it looks like it will be Oxford Sheffield next Thursday.
Let's have a look at what we've got coming up. Can't do that one. Oxford Cheetahs versus Scunthorpe Scorpions, which is the meeting you're going to, isn't it? On Wednesday the 28th.
Wednesday 28th. Hold on, I'm gonna get it up on here. Yeah, Oxford Scunthorpe. I will be there.
May do back-to-back watch-alongs that week. May do that one on the Wednesday.
It must be on Oxford TV.
Yeah, and then Leicester and Birmingham on the Thursday. We'll probably do one too. Me and Palmer will probably pull double duty there, to be fair. With you on your little tour.
Let's do some.
You obviously won't be able to join in because of your little world tour.
Yeah, but you'll get to watch Leicester Birmingham on the Thursday, so that's not too bad.
We'll probably watch Oxford and Scunny on the Wednesday as well.
Vested interest there, Adriano.
Shut up. There we go.
Shut up.
David Howe having a chinwag with Ryan Douglas and Sam Masters.
Oh, that's a shame I'm missing that one the following Wednesday. Oxford versus Glasgow.
Oh no.
Ah, rats.
You've put your week all wrong here, haven't you?
I know.
So, as things stand, there won't be a watch-along. Oh, there will be a watch-along next Wednesday, potentially.
Yep, and yeah.
And then there'll be potentially 2 the week that you're on your travels.
Yep. You'll at least have one next Thursday, with it being Oxford and Sheffield.
Yeah, that's what yeah, you got a point. Yeah. They're taking their interval they're taking the interval now at Leicester. Getting a good pace this. Hopefully their interval levels up. I won't be sliding across your bum on that stuff, Mush.
I think that might be young Harris.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I think that might be young Cruz.
The kid
trying to tell his dad, this is the outside line you're looking for.
Yeah. No, BSN's gave up with the gate. Gate wins. Yeah, we've got all that already, boys.
You're not going to believe this. The match at Ipswich and Sheffield is already at Heat 14.
Jesus
and ran.
Christ.
We're going on to 15. Heat 13 was won by Jason Doyle, with Jack Holder and Chris Holder packing in for the minor places. And Heat 14, Leon Flint came in for Justin Sedgman, and Dan Thompson replaced Jordan Jenkins. Lewis Kerr retired from that heat, and it was a 5-1 to the Ipswich Witches, which makes the score 41 to Sheffield's 43 to Ipswich going into heat number 15.
There's been two heats done at Oxford. Heat number 9 was won by Dan Bewley with Charles Wright and Rowan Tungate packing in ahead of Tate Zishki to make the scores 23 points to 31 with a 3-all. And heat number 10 was won by Zach Cook with Peter Kildemand and Matt Sayanovsky packing in ahead of Jamin Lidsey to make the progressive scores 26 points to 34. Tate Zishki started the meeting well with a second, but has done nothing since. I'd imagine it's only a matter of time before he's given his P45 from Bellevue. To be honest, he's just not been good enough, has he? And I think Bellevue fans are a little bit fed up as well.
Yeah, he's not had the best start to the season at Bellevue, but I'm guessing the only way is up for him.
Or out the door. That might be the only way.
Or out the door, yeah.
The only way is up or forwards.
I'm hoping as this camera pans around, we'll actually see Palmer's face.
Nah, we ain't gonna see that. See, we get Yankovic having a chinwag with Harry Potter's twin. Yankovic couldn't give a toss what he's saying, could he?
It's like Harold Doolin.
Yeah. Good old Jan. Or Strawberry Jam, as Palmer likes to call him. Alright, come on, boys. We ain't got all day.
To be fair, we're a lot further on than Oxford, a little bit behind where Sheffield's
I'm
at.
glad Oxford weren't the BSM meeting tonight. Christ on a bike, Freddie Hodder with Ashton Bowden. It's a Glasgow reunion in the pits tonight.
Yeah, fair few current and former Glasgow riders in the pits tonight.
Ashton looks all smiles. He looked a picture of depression the other night when Glasgow were racing. He just looked so fed up. He's had an improved Heat 8 tonight. I'll be interested to see if he gets his last ride or whether Nikolai Clint comes out.
Probably going to give it... Knowing Rob Lyon, he's going to give it to Nikolai Clint.
I mean, if the meeting's gone, I'd probably give it to Ashton. I suppose it depends because they've drawn it in a bit now. 8 points
Only
in
8
it now.
in it,
Yeah.
so that is close. Come on, camera, do us a solid.
And now we're off to Schlongy and Brennan. Schlongy looks
This guy.
freezing cold. It's not even that cold. Why's Rory got a coat on? And Charlotte and Jason are having a stroll around the pits, and the cameraman's trying to hide.
I swore that wasn't. Oh no, it's a different girl. See what we're getting. All the
Charlotte.
girls on BSN.
Charlotte works for Discovery and BSN. She does other sorts of motorsport with Discovery. This cough's doing my tits in, Al.
Yeah, you don't sound too healthy, me old
I
China.
ain't been healthy for 29 years, Moss. That's nothing new.
I wonder if anyone's saying anything in the comments.
Absolutely not. The last one to comment was Palmer, and he's either dead or eating cow.
Is Winchester even joined us, or is he
Winchester's
not
got
there
Cycle
tonight?
Speedway.
Oh, jeez. I don't envy anyone that's on either side of him.
Good old Danny.
Imagine doing a watch along to that.
What, Cycle Speedway? I couldn't. It ain't even that bad. It's quite entertaining. You don't have to pay to go and watch it either, but I couldn't do a watch along to it. Sod that, just because I don't know who nearly every one of them is. Apart from a couple of the STS boys who race it. Jason Harold having a chinwag with Charlotte, and he's done most of the talking because, you know, why wouldn't he have?
Because it's Jason Harold and he has to do all the talking.
Here we go, back onto what we're all here to see. And it should be straightforward through to the finish now, hopefully.
It's going round to the tapes.
Yankovic's got, but like you've pointed out, he's better in his programme rides than his chain rides. He's coming for change. He got 0 as an RR, 1 and a bonus as a tactical, and he's unbeaten from his programme rides.
Yeah, he's definitely better than his own rides.
Yeah. Riders were out on the
Stuart
track
saying, hurry
before
up, get that tractor in, you've got some racing to do.
the riders were out before the tractor had got in. He's going to have to do a 3-point turn with this. Go on, pal, we ain't got all day. That's what I can imagine it's like, trying to overtake Tank on STS, to be honest. Trying to get round the back of that tractor.
Yeah,
Joe Thompson keeps his spot here, and I think he's earned that. He's been solid enough tonight.
I think we're just awaiting Clint.
And there he is.
There he is.
Say his name and he appears. He's figured out how to put the helmet colour on now. It fits.
Hey!
Better late than never.
So the lineup for heat number 12 of the inside gate in red is Ryan Douglas. Gate 2 in yellow is Nikolai Clint. Gate 3 in blue is Joe Thompson. And off the outside in white is Yankovic.
I'll be honest, Dougie was solid enough last time out, but Joe Thompson wasn't particularly on it. Yankovic looked quick in his own rides, and Nikolai Clint got a second last time out, much more competitive. This could be another heat advantage to Kings Lynn here.
And that's what they'll be hoping for.
There will be.
To try and pull back the deficit that they're sitting on.
Notice that Joe Thompson's got the Allied Mobility sponsor on his bike. Obviously notorious for sponsoring Glasgow. If hearsay is to be believed, in one of the Glasgow plans for this year was Joe and Dan Thompson, which is probably why he's sponsored by Allied Mobility.
I'm very surprised we didn't get him in, because he's a good rider. Him and Dan would have worked well together.
Start Marshall pulls the riders into line. We've changed Start Marshall. This one's got a beanie on. And it's a good start from the rider in red. Ryan Douglas, Nikolai Clint has gated with him as well. Dougie's sticking low to the inside, as is Joe Thompson, and he's trying to come up the inside of Yankovic, but can't do it. Yankovic's all out of shape. Joe Thompson's coming up the inside of his Plymouth teammate Nikolai Clint. Oh my God, we're having a mare. Joe Thompson's gone to the back, but Dougie's clear. Yankovic is in second place, but after the interval track grade, it's all around the inside. And Dougie knows this track like the back of his hand. He's just got to keep it in front. Joe Thompson has tailed off a little bit towards the end of the night, but started fantastically well. And he's now he's definitely been tailed off here. Ryan Douglas is clear. Yankovic and Nikolai Clint in second and third, fairly unchallenged as well. And this is going to keep the scores level with 1 lap left to go. Ryan Douglas takes the last lap flag. Yankovic is keeping it down low, but Dougie's there as well. And if you both ride in the same line, you're not going to be able to pass. Nikolai Clint's unchallenged in third, but he's nowhere near his teammate either. And Dougie's going to bring this home for a share of the spoils. Dougie did that from the start then. Yankovic was there as well. And from his programme rides, Yankovic's only dropped 1 point.
Yeah, he has, to be fair, from his programme rides. Joe Thompson a little bit unlucky there, but he was up against some tough opposition in that one, to be fair. So the result of heat number 12 was a win for the rider in red, Ryan Douglas. Second to the rider in white, Yankovic. And third to the rider in yellow, Nikolai Clint, with young Joe Thompson at the back. A 3-all makes a progressive scores 40 to the Leicester Lions, 32 to the Kings Lynn Stars, and makes the aggregate score 84 to the Leicester Lions, 78 to the Kings Lynn Stars.
Dougie rode a very smart ride there. Yankovic got all out of shape and actually impeded his teammate.
Yeah, got a little bit of lift there and just had to try and get it back on the...
I thought Joe was going to do them both there. How tight he was to that inside, I thought he was steaming up the inside of both of them.
Yeah, so did I, to be fair.
Chris Harris will be looking for better here. What gate was Dougie off then?
Dougie was off gate number 1.
It's awful going for gate 1. Chris Harris will be looking for better, as will, to be fair, Niels Christian Everson. 3 points from 3 starts. 4 starts.
And I would even say Sam Masters as well will be looking for a better one.
Yeah, it's not been great, has he, to be honest?
It's probably not been his best night round, Leicester, if I'm being honest.
No. 3-2-1, I mean, by those scores, you'd expect him to win it last year, but Sam generally
think we can
comes
get a
big
little zero.
in the big races. Sam generally picks it up and does what he needs to do.
So the lineup for heat number 13 of the inside in Gate 1 in white is Chris Harris. Gate 2 in red is Max Frick. Gate 3 in yellow is Niels Christian Everson. And off the outside in the blue helm colour is Mr. Sam Masters.
Dougie made Gate 1 work just. Can Bomber do the same? Max Frick's going to want to bounce back after being 5-1 in his last race.
Well, that's interesting.
I mean, points-wise, this favours Leicester with Max Frick on 7, Sam Masters on 6, Chris Harris and Niels Christian Everson both on 3 apiece.
Just going to go and vote for me Rider of the Night. I want to see who's in it.
Fair play.
Got to have a look. Oh, I didn't scan. Where's the options? Ryan Douglas, Drew Kemp, Yankovic, or Nikolai Clint.
Drew Kemp for me. Start Marshall calls the riders into line then of Heat 13. Tapes fly. And Max Frick's made a blinding gate. Chris Harris has got the drive though, and Max Frick's been knocked all out of shape. Sam Masters comes down off the outside because of Chris Harris pushing Max Frick out. Kings Lynn were on a 5-1 at the time of the stoppage, but that was a classic case of first bend bunching. Max Frick dropped the clutch at the right time, but Chris Harris's bog dragged him to the first turn, and Niels Christian Everson was there off Gate 3 as well. Chris Harris sends Max Frick out towards Everson, and he ends up coming across Sam. Sam has to drop the bike, and that's a classic case of bunching for me.
I was going to say, to be fair, didn't actually see any contact from anyone there. So unless it's there in this angle.
Contact there. And then he's knocked Max into Sam's
Yeah,
path.
okay, I take that back.
It's all fall back all day long. Dougie and Becker's mechanic aren't helping Sam. He'll go and just make sure all the dirt's out of the engine and stuff. There's no no damage done there. Leicester had gated then as well. Max Frick, as we say, dropped the clutch at the right time, but just didn't drag to the first turn like he'd have wanted. And after it looked plain sailing for Leicester in the middle part, it's suddenly getting a little bit twitchy for them. Riders just topping their fuel up. Any updates from Sheffield, Mush?
There is. We've had Heat 15 and it lined up with Josh Pickering off Gate 2 and Jack Holder off Gate 4. Emil Sai, Fudenoff and Jason Doyle lined up for the Ipswich Witches. And it was a 5-1 to Sheffield to make the final scores 46 to Sheffield, 44 to Ipswich.
Ooh.
Sai Fudenoff retired at the back.
Do you want to quickly run us through the final scores there for each rider?
Yep. So for Sheffield, Jack Holden 9+1, Anders Rowe 7+3, Josh Pickering 14, Justin Sedgman 1+1, Chris Holder 6+1, Louis Kerr 3, and Leon Flint 6. And for the Ipswich Witches, Jason Doyle 10+1, Adam Ellis 7+1, Emil Saifudinoff 8+1, Danny King 6+1, Tom Brennan 5, Dan Thompson 7+1, and Jordan Jenkins 1+1. Any updates from Oxford?
There's not been a heat, but it's the interval at the moment. But Heat 12, Peter Kilderman takes tactical substitute in blue for Luke Killeen against Jamin Lindsay and Tate Zishke. And he partners Charles Wright, who we had a little bit of a coming together with last week. so speculate as you will on that one. The fact that we've had a couple of minutes delay here would suggest the refs put all four back.
Yeah.
If Sam
is it just me or is the mechanic for Niels Christian Everson got a look at Adam Skornicki about him?
No, he hasn't.
No. Am I wrong?
Yeah, he's not.
It's the long hair. That's what it's getting me.
And Kings Lynn will be open to replicate that start. Max Frick very quickly away there, but he'll be worried at the fact he didn't drag as he'd have liked, and it is all full back as you'd expect. Out over to you, kid.
So the lineup again for heat number 13. In white off gate 1 is Chris Harris. Gate 2 in red is Max Frick. Gate 3 in yellow, Niels Christian Everson. And off the outside in blue, hoping to stay on his bike this time, it's Sam Masters.
Big 8-13 this, and it's tense as well. If Kings Lynn were to get a maximum here, it would suddenly put the points to 4. So Leicester will be hoping to avoid that, and a shared heat or better, and they've all but won. Start Marshall's calling the riders in now. Everson's going to be the last to settle again. Off gate 4.
Oh, he's not happy.
Oh, this is better than the last meeting we watched from here anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
Start Marshall walks away then for the rerun of Heat 13, and Max Frick has got the gate right this time, and he chops off Chris Harris's nose. Niels Christian Everson's going wide, but Max Frick's got that covered, and he's trying to get Sam through. Sam Masters comes straight through the middle of them both, and Leicester on a 5-1. Brilliant ride from Sam there. Max Frick clamped the Kings Lynn boys, forced an error, and Sam Masters comes straight through the middle. Chris Harris out the back again. Niels Christian Everson's got some speed in that bike, but down the straights he's losing any ground he makes up. Max Frick's leading on the inside, Sam Masters on the outside. They're looking for each other. Max is letting Sam go around him, and they're just going to team ride this home for a big 5-1, which is going to take the win with 2 races to go. Max Frick down low, Sam on the wide line. Niels Christian Everson, he's buzzing around, and one mistake and he will put some pressure on. Chris Harris is nowhere to be seen, and that's a little bit of a concern for Kings Lynn, and probably for Glasgow as well, to be honest. 1 lap left to go, and then Leicester, Sam Masters lifts there, but he gets it under control. And the Leicester boys are going to bring this home for a big 5-1. Niels Christian Everson tries the inside off the last turn, but Max Frick covers it smartly. Everson had to shut off. Max Frick put his body on the line to protect that, and it paid off. Hard racing, but fair racing there, and that's a massive result for Leicester.
Yeah, but unlucky there for Niels Christian Everson, who's trying everything to get past him. Chris Harris just abysmal at the back.
He's been shit since he moved to number 1.
Chris, you better not be this bad tomorrow night, sir.
How does he normally ride at Scunner?
Marginally better than he does here.
That's a start.
Marginal. So the result of heat number 13 was a win for the rider in red, Max Frick. Second to the rider in blue, Sam Masters, and third to the rider in yellow, Niels Christian Everson. A 5-1 makes the score 45 to Leicester, 33 to Kings Lynn, and I've got it wrong in my programme.
What a penis.
I put the riders in blue and red the wrong way around.
What a clown.
So I now need to go and change that. Yeah.
And with the meeting gone, I'd probably leave Ashton Bowden in for his ride here, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I would as well, because there's not really much.
Gone, the meeting on the night's gone. You might as well give Ashton the extra 4 laps. I don't think Clint's done anything much better than Ashton. Clint has had 6 rides. Ashton's not took an RR. I'd probably just... Everson's kicking things all over the place. I don't know what he's moaning for. He got beat fair and square. He's just making himself look like a prat.
And it's 89.79 on aggregate for those. I forgot to mention that. And Bowden keeps his place.
Ashton does keep his place, and rightfully so, I think.
And the lineup for Heat 14 in blue off gate 1 is Drew Kemp. In white off gate 2 is Richard Lawson. Gate 3 in red is Kyle Howarth, and off the outside in yellow is Ashton Bowden.
Penultimate race of the night. It's been an okay meeting, to be honest. The scoreline's a bit wider than would suggest. It's been closer than I think it would suggest looking at that scoreline. It's been some good racing, there's been some good individual performances for both teams as well. Certainly for Kings Lynn, individual performances. A little bit more in the way of team riding from the Leicester boys.
Yeah.
And Leicester are back at home, I think 2 weeks today. I don't think they've got a home meeting next week.
Don't think so.
And they're back at home 2 weeks tonight when you'll be there, Al. Maybe.
Yeah, that is true indeed.
Star Marshal calls the riders into order for Heat 14, then walks away and the tapes rise. And it's a fairly even break, but Richard Lawson's gated. Ashton Bowden's going wide off the outside and he gets round both Carl Howarth, Andrew Kemp and Kings Lynn are on a 5-1. Ashton Bowden's found something that's working. And Richard Lawson's going to try and shepherd him home. Carl Howarth is putting some pressure on his Glasgow teammate now. Opposition tonight though, teammates tomorrow. Ashton sticking to that outside, Carl up the inside and he gets straight past Ashton. Going after Richard Lawson now. Drew Kemp sticking to that inside. I don't think there's as much down there as Drew would like. Although he's starting to put Ashton under just a touch of pressure now. Ashton keeps going wide to get his wheel in the dirt. I think Drew's probably going to do him here, to be honest. No, Ashton holds it for now. He's come back down low, which is where Drew was making up a touch of ground, and I think he's covered that move off. Richard Lawson leads, but Carl Howarth is starting to put a little bit of pressure on. It's getting dusty now, to be honest. It's getting a little bit difficult. Andy Dugmore's in the chat. Evening, chaps. What a boy. And Richard Lawson's going to bring this home from Carl Howarth. And Ashton Bowden ahead of Drew Kemp in third for a 4-2 for Kings Lynn. Randy Andy, his rider Luke Becker, has done fairly well tonight, to be honest.
Yeah, he has, to be fair. What, paid 7?
Yeah, 6 and 1. So he's done quite well. Dugmore says hi.
And the result for heat number 14 was a win for the rider in white, Richard Lawson. Second to the rider in red, Carl Howarth, and third to the rider in red. 2 points to Leicester, 4 to Kings Lynn makes the scores going into heat 15. 47 to Leicester, 37 to the Kings Lynn Stars.
Whoa, Al run some interesting information. Drew Kemp was grass tracking on that first turn there. What the bloody hell was he doing? Heat 12 at Oxford was Peter Kildemand in for a tactical. Was won by the rider in red, Charles Wright. Second in white was Jamie Lindsay, and third in blue the tactical substitute Peter Kildemand for the 4-2 to Oxford, which was very quickly drowned out with a 5-1 to Bellevue with Brady Kurtz and Dan Bewley 5-1 over Matt Zainovsky and Eric Riss to make the scores on the evening 33-45 with 2 to go at Oxford. Oxford are really crap.
Really crap, and their meeting's running really slow.
They are going a bit slow, aren't they? They are going slow.
Now here's the question, who do you put in heat 15 in this one?
Oh, Christ on a bike. I'd say probably Max Frick and Sam Masters for Leicester. Yankovic and Richard Lawson maybe for Kings Lynn. Chris Harris has been crap. Niels Christian Everson's been crap. Ashton's done alright, to be fair to him. Give credit where it's due. Nicola Clint's done okay, but he's had 6 rides already. I don't think he warrants another.
I'd agree with you on for the Kings Lynn pairing. I'd go Lawson and Kvech, but Leicester, I might be tempted to put in, instead of Sam Masters, go Frick and Douglas.
I think it'll be between these 3. I think Sam and Frick will get it though, just based off that 5-1 they got together in 13.
Would make sense.
Dougie's had Dougie and Sam have had the exact same points, but Dougie's paid for 1 more point than Sam is, but 2 wins, a second and a third each. I'd probably go for Sam and Frick though. Kings Lynn will have gate choice in 15 though. Not that it's going to make a fat lot of difference, to be honest. How's your evening going, Mr. Dugmore? It's nice of you to join us because we've been very busy in these comments tonight, honest. Stuart Dixon's a picture of joy. He's always a picture of joy, old Stuart.
Yeah.
Or Stuart,
And Rob-
to those of us who know a certain somebody.
And then Rob Lyon looks depressed.
I would as well. Although Kings Lynn have fought back a little bit, there's been some good performances. But not
You
from
notice
Chris
that
Harris and Nils Christian Everson.
When Rob Lyon's in charge, Kings Lynn don't do so well.
Sexy
the one match
was
Simon
in
Lambert's
charge the
on
other
track.
week and they won by miles.
Get Si Lambert into team manager, you do a better job.
I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Simon Lambert team managing a little bit more in the future, to be honest.
Yeah.
The track's
I'm just
been
looking at
better tonight. It's going well.
Yeah, it has
Finished
been, to be
work a
fair.
little
But
earlier.
bit dusty towards the end. But, yeah.
Doug Moore says it's going well. He finished work early, so I thought he'd jump on the stream. I don't blame you, Doug
What a
Moore.
boy.
I mean, it's not me and Palmer, but Alan's sufficing. Stuart Dixon, yep, you know the drill, Mr. Doug Moore. Old CB
Stuart.
himself. Good Stuart and the Birmingham Brummies.
Just looking at the ride of the night, Yankovic is winning that.
He's been alright in his programme rides. He's been a bit crap in rides that weren't his, though.
Yeah, he's winning with Drew Kemp. He's winning on 44.5%. Drew Kemp's got 36.1. Ryan Douglas 16.3, and poor Nikolai Clint 2.9%.
They're very enthralling. Doug Moore says, mate, mate, mate. If you know, you know.
Mate.
And Alan doesn't know, so
Not a clue.
straight over his head. And you get to meet Doug Moore when you come down to Birmingham a week on Monday, Al.
Oh, very good.
So Doug Moore will probably pull a sickie that night now.
He'll go, no, not interested.
No, not going to be here.
See if the lineup's been announced on or has been put in here. Nothing yet. Because we're not going to be able to know till they come on track.
No, you are right, Al. You make a good point. Has anything happened at Oxford?
No way! I've just seen something hilarious, sorry.
You looked in the mirror again, Al.
No, I've just seen that Stuart Dixon won the 50-50 draw at Leicester.
Oh my Christ, you are right. Dougie's in here. Well, he's got his goggles and his helmet, so I hope he's in. Heat 14 at Oxford was won by Zach Cook, with Craig Cook second and Ryan Tungate third for the 3-all with 1 heat to go. Bellevue were winning 48-36. Ryan Douglas is in red in heat 15. Maybe Max Fricks decided to step down and it's going to be a Wolves pair in 3-15 with Sam Masters as well. I guess we'll find out now. Ryan Douglas is in red, Yankovic is in yellow. And that's all we've got for the moment. I'll message Lawrence, can't make that meeting, Al's therefore. It is Sam Masters in blue, so it's Ryan Douglas and Sam Masters versus Yankovic and Richard Lawson.
So you were spot
You called Dougie, I called Frick, but Frick's opted to sit
Yeah.
this one out. The Leicester pair, the Kings Lynn pairing wrote itself.
Yeah, it did, to be fair.
Oh, Doug Moore, if you're pulling a sickie that night, can I have your job on the pick gate again so I don't have to see Al either? I mean, hello Al, didn't see you there.
I can stand near the pit gate, you know, not obviously right at it, but
Not the gate that
Close
Doug
enough.
Moore does, you can't.
oh, that's a shame.
Ryan Douglas is off popping wheelies. What a boy. And with 1 heat to go, it's been a better meeting than we last watched at Leicester, to be honest. The next meeting we watch from Leicester, ironically, is the meeting you're going to be at 2 weeks tonight for the Leicester Lions versus the Birmingham Brummies. Doug Moore says Leo's standing in for him. I think he's a bit small to do that, boss. Just a little bit on the short side. And Leicester are off 2 and 4 in Heat 15. So it's interesting that Rob Lyons opted for 1 and 3. Although Peter Adams always used to say you never offer the inside gate up in Heat 15.
Yeah. So the lineup for Heat 15 of the Gate 1 in white is Richard Lawson. Gate 2 in red is Ryan Douglas. Gate 3 in yellow, Yankovic, and off the outside in blue is Sam Masters.
Doug Moore's Mr. Blinder of a stream, to be honest.
Yeah.
If he needs something to listen to on his way to sleep tonight, I know a place where there's a good stream, lasts about 2 hours. Got a Scottish fella and a fella from Tipton with a funny accent doing it, but...
And no fella from Scunthorpe.
And no fella from Scunthorpe who's in Leicester next to a cake shop ready to fly to Poland. Such are the wonders of Speedway. This meeting started off at a good pace, but it's slowed down a little bit. I'm glad it weren't Oxford though, Christ almighty. They've either sped up or these have slowed down though.
What, is Oxford caught up?
Oxford's on 15.
I mean, if you're very quick, you can give us the result of 14.
I'll get it. Zach Cook from Craig Cook and Ryan Tonga.
Did not expect them to get that
Riders,
close. I thought we would have run
for
out of
Heat
time.
15 from Oxford, Charles Wright, Peter Kilderman, Jamin Lindsay and Zach Cook. So that's why Palmer's not on the stream yet. Tapes go up, away we go. Ryan Douglas makes a start, Sam Masters is there with him. Richard Lawson's trapped on the inside. Yankovec's going wide on the outside. Richard Lawson trying to come up the inside of Sam Masters, but Ryan Douglas is covering the inside well. And it's a repeat of Heat 13. Sam on the outside. Ryan Douglas is on the inside, taking the role that Max Frick took. Although Richard Lawson is there or thereabouts. One mistake from Dougie, and he will be through. He's past Sam Masters. Sam ran a bit wide. Sam's cutting back down to the inside and he's going to force Richard wide. Dougie's going to have to speed up a little bit for Sam to come through. Sam's gave up with their outside line. Comes right past Richard Lawson again. Yankovic is at the back. And now all 4 riders are just curb crawling. Ryan Douglas is clear out front. Sam Masters worked hard for it, but he's now in 2nd place. Richard Lawson's there in 3rd place, not really putting out a challenge now. And Yankovic, if anything, is challenging his teammates at the rear of the field. This is going to make it a 52-38 final score with Ryan Douglas leading on to the last lap. Sam Masters there in 2nd. Richard Lawson is in 3rd. That's how we're going to finish. Dougie brings it home. Sam in 2nd, and Lawson, despite his efforts, finishes 3rd. And the final score is the Leicester Lions 52 points. Kings Lynn Stars 38. Just cough.
Well, you wouldn't start coughing there.
And I'll just quickly figure these scores out and then we'll quickly cover that before we close off for the night. 6, 9 and 1, 6 and 1. Do you want to give the result of 15 now?
So Heat 15, the result was a win for the rider in red, Ryan Douglas. 2nd, the rider in blue, Sam Masters. And 3rd, the rider in white, Richard Lawson. A 5-1 to Leicester makes the final scores 52 to the Leicester Lions, 38 to the Kings Lynn Stars. And I just wonder if they'll give us the aggregate while they're at it. Maybe.
So we'll quickly run through the individual score charts.
96-84 on aggregate.
Individual scorers then. For Leicester, Max Frick scored 9+1. Luke Becker 6+1. Ryan Douglas 12+1. Carl Howarth 5. Sam Masters 10+1. Drew Kemp 6 and 1. And Joe Thompson 3+2. For Kings Lynn, Chris Harris 3. Rider replacement scored 3+1. Yankovic 12+1. Richard Lawson 8+2. Nils Christian Everson 4. Nikolai Clint 8+2. And Ashton Bergeron at 3 adds up to and on the night score of 52 points to 38. And we'll quickly wrap this up for the evening. This has been a joy. Al's been Al, I've been me. We'll be back.
What about your
soon.
Heat 15 at Oxford?
I don't really care about it. I won't lie. The meeting's over. Don't care about it. And
fair enough.
We'll go. We'll be live again in a couple of weeks. Thanks to anyone who's joined us. Palmer will be back in the near future when he's back from Poland or dead.
Oh, dead. Love it.